Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I think people are just starting to join, so we'll do a quick introduction before we officially kick off in a couple of minutes. So hello, my name is Julia. I'm your webinar host today. I'm part of Chargebee's customer success team, and I'm really happy and honored that we're having this deep dive into Xentral's success story today, and that we have the opportunity to talk to Andre and on how he successfully managed with his team to move pretty much all of their customer base from offline to online payments within a very short amount of time. So I think this will be very interesting for a lot of participants here on this call to just find out the nuts and bolts, the nitty-gritty of how Andre's team managed to do that. So just a bit of housekeeping before we start. So if you would like to post a question, please feel free to use the question section here in this webinar room. So we will be able, after 20 minutes of webinar of talking, we'll be able to do the Q&A. And then let me just quickly run through a bit of an agenda with you. Apologies for that. I feel a bit like a flashback to 3 years ago when we did COVID homeschooling. We have a similar situation going on at the moment as well. So we're back at the webinar, and very happy for Andre to introduce himself. I have to admit, Andre, about a year ago when we started discussing your plan to move your customers from offline to online, I thought, well, good luck with that. I really love to support you and the team, but it's a very difficult task to do, because in Germany, where both Andre's team and I am based, and in most other European countries, it's very common to have offline payments and to pay via bank transfer and to have like a 30-day net D payment period until your customers pay, or even longer. So yeah, very happy to find out the details, Andre. So over to you for a quick introduction.
Yes, thank you, Julia. My name is Andre, 35 years old, based in Augsburg in the south of Germany, and I'm the head of finance at Xentral ERP Software GmbH, also based in Augsburg. I joined the company end of 2020, right before the Series A, and with around 40 employees. Within the last 3 years, I built up there the finance team, introduced also Chargebee, managed to financing rounds, 2 acquisitions, and now we are here.
Amazing. Thanks, Andre. Can you tell us a little bit more about what Xentral does?
Yes. So Xentral is a cloud-based ERP for SMEs. Our target is to have all business operations in one tool. So with Xentral, you can connect all areas of your business, starting from your online shop. You can catch the orders, you can do the inventory management, manage payments, and as well as shipping. We call it the backbone of every SME business.
Amazing. So I think most people on the webinar are super excited to now find out a bit more about this journey from offline bank transfer, very manual invoicing and payment processing, to a setup where you collect payments from your customers online, very seamless, very automated through Chargebee and your payment processors, Molly and Stripe. So maybe let's just start with the challenges. So can you give us a bit of an overview of the historical setup that you had when you were processing offline payments? What did that look like?
So actually, we manage the subscription in our own software in Xentral, but Xentral is really good at in managing goods and processes, FMCG goods, shipping orders, but not built and meant to be to manage subscriptions. Therefore, there are softwares like Chargebee, and also Xentral works together with Chargebee. If you're having a subscription product and a physical product to ship, that's also working. But we had some challenges. First of all, was process automation. We are using CRM, HubSpot. It's possible to connect this with Xentral, but then creating a subscription automatically was not possible. Additionally, revenue recognition is a very important topic, especially if you're going to quarterly payments, annual contract, and also automation, connecting the software with the licensing server. And another thing is also growth. Yeah, having multiple entities collected in one system, that was not possible. And one of the most important problems, automated payments, that gives you a scalable and lean and cost-efficient setup.
Thanks for the overview, Andre. So yes, I just would like to go back to the offline payments and to understand the pain that your team had, like back in the days, basically a year ago, on kind of processing this kind of workflow. And before you answer, just for everyone on the webinar, feel free to click in the polls section. We posted a little poll just because we would like to find out from the audience what your kind of level of offline billing is at the moment. So the question is, how much of your billing is through offline payments? So if you could just select one of the 4 options and submit your vote, that would be amazing. And yes, back to the question, Andre. What was the process? What was the pain your team was going through a year ago?
Yeah, if you're dealing with SMBs, mainly in the DACH market, in the German market, yeah, they're not used to automated payments. Even it comes to a little bit higher amounts. So that meant in the past, when sales closed the deal and they wanted to push to SEPA Direct, they have to send out the mandate. Customer has to put this data there, sign it, send it to the bank. We have to place this also in a CRM, then to set up everything manually. But not all of the customers wanted to do that, so we had 60 to 80% still offline payments via bank transfer. So you have to book the bank every day, and then also match the payments to the outstanding invoices, which is not scalable and high manual work.
Yeah, so your team was handling this process manually, checking the bank accounts, doing the reconciliations, and probably also doing the follow-ups with the customers who didn't pay on time. Can you estimate how much time your team kind of spent on kind of chasing up customers to pay and making these follow-ups and doing the bank reconciliation? How many team members were involved in that process?
I can tell you in general from the finance team and the operations we are now doing, I can say that we are minus 1.5 FTE since we started this process at the end of 2021, and right now we managing the whole accounting and accounts receivable management for the German headquarters plus the subsidiaries with 2.5 FTE, complete accounting and managing of Chargebee. That's with over 2,000 customers.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Also, in considering the growth that Xentral has been going through in the meantime, that you were even able to reduce the team size whilst handling a lot more revenue is very impressive. So maybe we can jump into how you found the solution. So what was your path to the kind of painful manual process 1 year ago to now being able to manage your billing and accounts receivables basically on an autopilot at an almost no touch fashion?
Yeah, It started in, I think, Q2 2021, when we looked for software, subscription management software. What was important for us: automation, usability, flexibility. We wanted to have a contract with an established market player. What is also very important, and also for this project was very important, from moving offline to online payments, was a very good API, and on the other hand, then a possibility to connect to our BI system. And as well as, also very important, and for auditors important, SOC 1 and SOC 2 certification of the whole software. When we then decided for Chargebee, before we managed our customers from offline to online, we needed to make sure that the new customers that are coming in every month, they are not also coming to offline payments, so directly starting with online payments. This is why we established a workflow from HubSpot to Chargebee, connected then to our accounting system data behind that, in collaboration with Stripe and Molly. So we have a nearly automated quote to cash process. The right way, the customer signs within HubSpot, customer is created, payment link goes out, customer enters his payment detail, and the subscription is automatically created. Of course, if you're having really, really large enterprise customer on the largest plan, we are still allowing offline payments. It's also sometimes the case in regulation of their investors, but this was the first step. And then the process of transferring offline to online payments was a collaboration of our data analytics team, as well as corporate development and the customer success team. We had to figure out the process, which is nearly automated and safe. Therefore, first we exported all the customer data from Xentral. The ones we had already, SEPA-Managed, was able to push through our data analytics team, with the help of Chargebee, with the solution engineer, through the API directly to Chargebee. There was no manual work done, just some testings, and we always have had their sandbox account. But the ones that didn't have the SEPA mandate and we had to push for to online payments was a workflow where we first created the customers in Chargebee, but without the subscription. So we had it there. And then we started connected also with HubSpot, automated email workflow with different reminders over the past. We had over 5 reminders going on over months, and initial adoption rate was like 20-30%. Then pushed it with another emails, and then we could increase the percentage. And then it was big teamwork. Also with our Google Sheet, we had a big Google Sheet with the customers, in which stage they were with the email workflow. But after we had no response, we started to call the customer, finance head, corporate development, or customer success team, and we explained the customer that's always also an advantage for them. We want to keep the prices as much stable as possible. Handling payments and receipts is expensive. We said, okay, then you have a customer portal where within our own software, where you can change your billing address, where you can change your payment method, and also download all the invoices. And the process took nearly, I think with overall until the last 6 months, but finally we are there. And I just looked in the numbers. We are now at, depends on the month, it's still at 10 to 15% offline payments.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing the details, Andre, of that process and how you managed to achieve that level of automation. The slide I was just sharing here on the screen is actually from the case study that the participants can also see in the chat. So feel free to have a read through the case study after the webinar. And what would also be interesting, probably for most people on the call, is also to learn more about your collaboration with not only Chargebee, but also Molly and Stripe, which are the payment processor, like managing and handling all of these online payments. So can you tell us a little bit about how you selected those two? What was the background story? What was the reason you're working with Molly and Stripe? That would be great if you could give us some details.
Yeah, we compared several payment service providers and also looked then at the fees. But Stripe was really clear, and we had it was also advantage through our investors. We have the same investors. We had an introduction there with very competitive fees. But also Molly from the beginning supported us. We have a partnership also with them, which also gives us competitive fees, because it is credit card payments are SEPA is much cheaper than credit card, but collecting an annual contract in advance is you always have to look if you get the money earlier and you invest it, then where's the ROI for you personally?
Thanks for sharing. So in the case study that I just mentioned, there's also mention of the portal, the self-serve portal that you use, which is part of the Chargebee feature set. So maybe you can tell us a little bit how the self-serve portal also helped your team kind of further automate the process. So for example, when your customers wanted to make a change of payment method or a change to their subscription, how does the portal come in play here?
Yeah, we had a lot of tickets in the past from customers asking, can you please resend us the invoice? Contact person has changed. That's completely done through an automatic workflow. You can, it's then answered. You find it within your central instance. Also, I have to change the billing address. I have to change the contact person. Everything is now automated. But also still a driver of our growth is, we call it, self-buy. So with Chargebee and with our license server connected then to Chargebee, users were now able to go into the software and add the user to their subscription or buy certain models. Changing of a main plan is not possible because it also affects a lot of modules. So this they need to talk to the CSM, but you can add modules, you can add user through it. And the great thing is that directly it goes to Chargebee, and the partial invoice until the next renewal is directly created and gets sent to the customer. So it uses a lot of manual work within finance and also our CSM team.
Amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I really love it when these no-touch motions come into play, and they help both sides. So not only it helps Xentral, but it also helps your customers, both using the self-serve portal, but then also moving to the online payments. I think there's a bit of a preconception that some customers find it more convenient to pay offline and to have the freedom to submit the bank transfer whenever they like. But in essence, it creates also manual work on their end. They need, I mean, even in some organizations, they print the invoice, they stamp it, they send it to the payments department, then it gets paid manually. So all of this work at your customer's end is also reduced. And I think that's also why it's been such a great success story, that you really communicated really well with your customers the benefits of what they get out of it if they move to a SEPA direct debit mandate, or if they move to credit card payments, that all of this manual and tedious work can be completely automated. So just conscious that we're 20 minutes into the webinar. So you've achieved absolutely great results with your team. Whilst kind of ramping up your revenue at Xentral, you were able to maintain and even reduce the size of your team slightly by like automating your payment process. So I think it's now a good opportunity to see if there are any questions from the audience, because I'm sure some will have follow-up questions. So if we cannot answer all the questions as part of this call, we'll be happy to follow up with you later. But yeah, feel free, everyone, to use the chat and the question section so that we can go one by one. And I can see there are already a few questions
Yes.
in the chat. So I'll read them out, and then we can go through them one by one. So the first question from Dennis van der Velde is it possible to show us the email you sent to your customers to push them over to online payments?
Right now, not, but we can take this offline. Yeah, maybe I can support that.
Yeah. So it would be good, maybe Dennis, if you follow up. It would also always be good to learn a bit more what the use case is and why it's so important to show.
But there was no ChatGPT when we did this. Yeah? I think now creating these emails is much faster and easier. Yeah?
Okay. So now I get it. So you want to see the email templates. Okay. So it was handcrafted.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But yeah, thanks, Andre, for taking that one offline. So I'll move to the next question. Yara Bani Atta is asking, how do you solve the challenge of rejected payments through the offline payments? What is the process behind this? As in many cases, the invoice is marked as payment due because of insufficient funds. So how do you solve this challenge?
I think this is now two questions. So first, rejected payments. We're doing export of chargebacks every week, and then go it through with the then send it directly to the CSM manager, so that they can start contacting the customer. Of course, you can also directly start. It depends on your business philosophy. You can start the dunning process. You can do, we have automated dunning process in place. You can also decide that the customer subscription is cancelled after the dunning process. But what we did is we connected also. You have a pause function within Chargebee. So if you're not reaching the customer, or he's not really replying, you just click in Chargebee on pause. It's connected to a license server. Then you can log into your Xentral, but then it says it is paused due to insufficient payment. Please directly contact our CSM, and this really helps.
Thanks, Andre. All right, moving to the next question from Jule van der Lucht. Have you found a way to automate the process of the remaining offline bank transfers? So matching the Chargebee invoices with offline bank transfers in the accounting tool. That's a good question also for the next step. So what's the next steps of driving efficiency and automation to Xentral?
Yes, we are exporting the bank revenues from Datev, and with a little bit of Google Sheets, Excel magic, you can create a file to import in Chargebee and mark them as paid. But next thing, if I have time, we want to start. I think it's already live. Stripe virtual IBAN. It's a new feature from Stripe, where you can create for every customer automatically with Stripe a virtual IBAN printed on the invoice. So Stripe directly knows when the customer transfers the money to Stripe and marks the invoice in Chargebee as paid.
Yes, correct. That's a very handy feature, and that's going to take away the remaining little bit of manual reconciliation from your team.
Yes.
Great question. Thank you. Yes, if there are any further questions, please feel free to post. Oh, I can see. Okay, I'm moving back to the top. There are actually a few more questions. Okay, where can you find Xentral? Is one question.
Xentral.com.
It's as easy as
that. What does it mean? Where can you find Xentral?
Yeah, Michaela, if you might want to just give us a bit more context. So yeah, if it's just about finding the website, it's Xentral.com. Yeah, feel free to have a look around. And there are, I can see, how strict are you with customers who refuse to move to online payments? That's a question from Chris Baring.
So with new customers, completely strict. With old customers, it depends. Yeah, it really depends. If they still know the founders supporting the business from the early days, then we leave them there. Yeah, as we can live with this 10 to 15%, but we are not allowing new customers to come in. Yeah. I think it's always, you have to remember where you're coming from and who supported you in your early days, in our case.
That's great. Yeah, and as you mentioned, Andre, sometimes the invoices are so big, there might be regulatory and other factors. So of course, it's good to be consistent and to set a deadline as your team did. You were very clear that at a certain point in time, offline payments as a kind of general payment method are not going to be supported anymore. But as always, there are exceptions to the rule. And I think you and your team just handled it very well, that you kept the customer experience very high and even improved on the customer experience, whilst really automating and streamlining your payment process. So whilst there are no other questions at this point, feel free to post any further follow-up questions to support@chargebee.com. And yeah, if there are questions directed to Andre, I'm very happy to forward them to you, of course. And yes, thank you very much, everyone. It was a pleasure to have you, Andre. Any final comments before we close?
From my side is yeah, what we don't talk about is this automated payment is also helping our sales team a lot. Because if you're saying on the beginner, on the medium plan, just automated payments, and on the biggest plan, you can pay via bank transfer if you pay in advance. It also helps to close and focus on greater and bigger deals. Yeah, that's one thing to add. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks so much, Andre. And thanks for everyone for joining. The recording of the webinar will be sent out to you if you happen to join a little bit late and wanted to catch the beginning. And also, before you leave, please feel free to answer the poll question, which you find in the polls section. The question was, how much of your billing is through offline payments? That will just help us to fully understand where you currently are in your journey from offline to online payments. So yeah, very, very happy to have follow-up conversations with all of you. Feel free to post them to support@chargebee.com. And have a great day ahead. And thanks again, Andre.
Thank you, Julia. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.